Hello everybody, it's me, GhostCritic. Thank you for joining me for another round of reviews, thoughts, opinions on the books that I picked up on Wednesday. There's only 5 books on my pull list this week, and nothing apart from obviously the pick of the week really kind of wowed me. It was a bit difficult kind of putting these in kind of ascending order of entertainment value, how much I enjoyed them. So the first 4 books are basically just kind of randomly put in some order, so that's different. For those of you who are new to my channel, don't forget that there are spoilers here, so activate your common sense. If you don't want any of the books that I'm about to raise aloft in my hand, then please fast forward the video or pause it, read the book and come back. And let's get on with it. We're going to start with a Marvel title currently being written by Mark Waid. It's Doctor Strange issue number 6, and I don't know, I kind of feel like we've touched on this particular scenario already, and I think it was from last year and the last volume before it started off at issue number 1 again, where we currently have Doctor Strange, who's been running around in space trying to kind of gain different magic back for him so he can, you know, become the full Sorcerer Supreme that he is. And we've got this kind of added layer now of him actually creating magical objects, imbuing them with magical powers, and now he's coming back to Earth, and we saw at the end of last issue that there is another Doctor Strange, and he's in the Sanctum Sanctorium. And who is it? What's going on? Well, it is very quickly explained here. We have an imposter within the house, while the real Doctor Strange has been flying the spaceways, and it's a young girl called Casey who has been impersonating Doctor Strange, and Stephen doesn't at first know who this is, though there's kind of a sort of memory in the back of his head. We kind of get it revealed that this was a memory that was taken out of his head because it was too painful, a scenario that occurred. And I guess this Casey is out for some sort of revenge, though it's not truly kind of explained, though she does still seem to be trying to amass some deadly weapons to go back up against Doctor Strange. I was just kind of meh about this particular issue. Again, it's kind of like, I'm sure we've just done this not more than a year ago, and it kind of got forgotten. And it's just kind of been thrown back in, just kind of out of the blue, whether Mark Waid got a bit bored of, or ran out. I don't think he ran out of ideas, but perhaps he got a bit bored of Doctor Strange being out in space, because I would have liked that potential storyline to go further and not be so cut short so soon. I thought it was an interesting concept of Stephen being somewhere, pardon the pun, but very alien to him, and not being stuck on Earth. And so it was okay. I mean, there was plenty of action in it. It was averagely written by, I don't know if this is a fill-in artist, Javier Pina. I'm not saying it was amazing, but say I'm trying to kind of find some interesting artwork to show you. It was just kind of a standard average type of read this week, unfortunately. I'm hoping this particular storyline gets wrapped up, or, you know, resolved very quickly, and move on to the next story arc from Mark Waid. Adventures of the Super Sons, issue number 3 from Peter Tomasi. Just a wonderful, vibrant, action-packed issue. The cover it's not really what goes on here. There's no kind of arm wrestle match in here, but it does have plenty of laughs, plenty of jokes, plenty of adventure, plenty of action as Superboy, who's now been kind of separated into the kind of red and blue version of himself. They have those two kind of fighting against this kind of impersonating young versions of all the normal DC Universe villains like Lex Luthor, the Joker, Deathstroke, or is it Deathstrike? I can't remember. You know, various kind of iterations, but kind of kiddie type versions, teen versions, I guess you'd call them. And like I said, it's a fun title to be reading. It doesn't let up on the adventure, the silliness, the bickering. It's like now no longer is it Superboy and Robin, Damian kind of bickering between themselves. It's the two Superboys who clearly don't seem to get on with each other, and it takes kind of a while for them to start working together as, you know, that kind of old age, kind of silver agey, perhaps bronze agey type storytelling did. It's kind of like you have these two superheroes, they have a little bit of a tussle with themselves for a while, but then they kind of join up to beat the bad guys. They kind of play with a new character coming in here. The Joker, who helped these our teens, our Super Sons, escape from the prison. He kind of ran off in a spaceship, but was seemingly destroyed by one of the villains. But we find out he gets rescued just in the nick of time by Space Cabbie. An interesting addition, another fun little twist to the book, but like I say, it is what it is. It's a youthful adventure action book, gloriously coloured and drawn by Barberi, Thibaut and Proto Bunker. I just think it's great. It's a nice kind of light, enjoyable read that just keeps me coming back for more. It doesn't expect much from me as a reader. I just go along for the roller coaster ride, and Peter Tomasi can keep writing this for another, what have we got, 9 issues, and keep me fully entertained, which he has been doing on this title even before it became this 12-issue Baxi series. So I'm enjoying it. What more can I say about it? Go and buy it. And so we come to a new #1 from Image Comics, Juke Joint. And I think it's generally accepted when you pick up an Image comic book that they are predominantly aimed at mature readership. I don't know of many Image comic books that you would give to, I guess, an under 16-year-old, to be honest. There would have to be certainly some careful reading before you handed it over, and a maturity level of said child would have to be taken into consideration. Which is why I don't quite understand why this has this whole page trigger warning. I get it and I understand it that this book has some very heavy themes in it. Domestic violence, sexual harassment, sexual assault and abuse running throughout this title. But I kind of guessed that from, one, the solicitations, two, the kind of preamble at the start about what this kind of book is going to be about. I just don't get the extra little bit. I mean, not to delve into that topic too far and let's just talk about the comic, but really what has happened to us as a society where we have to have these warnings. What happened to, I don't know, our intellect, our common sense, that we now have to be constantly wrapped up in cotton wool and continually warned about things. And I completely understand the context of the themes that run through this book and how there is that, for the phrase that they use, this trigger warning. But like I said, you pick up these books, you expect mature content. Now, the story itself is actually really interesting. I'm considering picking up the next couple before I actually throw this onto my pull list, just to see if it does something that's a little bit different than what I've seen before, because I kind of feel like this is akin to, what was it called? Redlands, that was it. The book about the witches, and it's kind of, I guess it is kind of set in the swamplands, which this is, but I guess it's in a different era. We have this kind of jazz club in the middle of the swamplands, where gentlemen can go and enjoy themselves, women can go there and enjoy themselves. They can be free to be whoever they want, but of course there are these rules, and you see them on the back cover. Keep your hands to yourself, respect everyone, live to see tomorrow. And you see from the kind of setup pages at the beginning, the different kind of sexual goings on, shall we say, that happen in there, and obviously it all has to be mutual, and if you cross that line, you're not only thrown out, you're not actually, well, you are barred from the club, but the ladies that run this this jazz club, they can go a little bit further, because it's all wrapped up in kind of this voodoo, kind of mystical, monstrous kind of beasts, and these gentlemen that cross the line generally end up dead or being tortured. And there is a great deal of kind of gore and kind of ritual mysticism going on in here, and it's interesting that only a couple of weeks ago that everyone got very hot under the collar about a bat wang, a bat penis, a bat dick. This book is full of naked ladies, and it's just like, I haven't heard very much about it. I don't get the kind of double standard. That Batman title is on the Black Label, which is of a mature content apparently, so why is that so shocking and this isn't? I don't get it. It's a kind of a double standard, I guess you'd say. Not that either of them bother me. It's like people just kind of pick and choose what they want to get angry about these days. But like I said, the book, it's kind of it's almost kind of vampirism in a way. There's, like I said, there's all the voodooism going on about it. And you have this main character, not unlike the lady from the House of Whispers, who kind of is this voodoo priestess. These people come to her for help, and she gives them kind of spells or chants to give them their heart's desires. And we come across one woman who is being domestically abused by her husband. The daughter is being sexually molested by the father, and our kind of voodoo queen here is already aware of this and really wants to stop it, but needs the wife, the mother, to come forward and kind of ask for this. And it's kind of got this ghostly supernatural feel to it, as by the end of this issue the father, the husband, seemingly gets changed into a tree at the end of this issue. I dug the book, I really did. I said at the top of this part of this video, just don't get why we needed that trigger warning. Perhaps, well, not perhaps, it's obviously not meant for me per se, but it's a mature book. Expect it. Paper Girls issue number 25 from Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang. And I've kind of been saying for a number of issues now that I just kind of feel that it's time for Vaughan to start wrapping this book up. And then what does he do? He kind of gets me slightly excited again for the book, and at the same time I think this book isn't ending anytime soon. We have them currently in the far-flung future, trying to, one, save Mac, who has this cancer that has been caused by all their time travelling, but they have not been able to cure it. And so they're kind of resigned to trying to get back to their own time. And then there's all this kind of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey business that goes on that's a tad confusing for the lay reader, but I'm kind of just grasping hold of it all and keeping going with it. But what happens at the end of this is that our girls all get separated, so it kind of looks, and they all seem to end up in different kind of places in time, maybe different dimensions. We have one girl seemingly in an underwater civilization. We get one that seems to be it seems to be on Earth, but it seems to be way in the past. We see Mac in some alien desolate desert with a big huge monster behind her, and we get our last girl, who seems to have come back home, perhaps just a little bit further ahead of her time than she should be. So I can't see this book finishing anytime soon, but at least something interesting and exciting has started to happen again with this, and the kind of momentum of the book has moved somewhat, so I'm happy for that. You know, I don't mind a book sticking around when it keeps my interest, and this has started to do it once again. Just as I'm kind of calling for it to end and to wrap up, as I said, Vaughan and Chang throw me for a loop and have the potential of kind of 4 new concurrent storylines to sink my teeth into. So perhaps I'll want Paper Girls now to continue for a lot longer. It's very confusing, but good stuff. Go out and pick it. My pick of the week, hands down, miles and miles ahead of those 4 previous books, was Simon Spurrier, Bill Quisevely and Matt Lopez's The Dreaming, issue number 2 from this new Sandman Universe range, and it was fantastic. Once again, this kind of has in some respects reinvigorated the Vertigo line, and it's just made me very excited about this new Sandman universe again. So much going on, so much chaos throughout The Dreaming, as this crack that we've seen in the sky breaching dimensions on whatever is on the other side. It's getting worse and worse, and on top of that they're now having to deal with this concept called a Milan cascade, which normally isn't that much of a deal for the Dreaming. It's kind of, we've got Merv being our kind of narrator for this issue, as Lucien the librarian is off doing other things, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it's seen very much from Merv the Pumpkinhead perspective, and him basically trying to get a grasp of everything that's going on. And it is very much a book about the roles of all these characters, and almost has their time come to an end, and it is time for them to move on, and these kind of new characters, these new dreams to come forward. Not only, as anyone who's been reading this, the blanks, these kind of almost featureless humanoid characters that have been granted kind of a sanctuary within the Dreaming and being put to work, and they have, it kicks off, everything is just kind of like a shitstorm of craziness due to a dreamer. That, again, this concept of the Milan cascade, where you know it's you or me, we're dreaming, we wake up within the dream, we know we're dreaming, and we have the potential then to control it. I think they call it lucid dreaming, and this causes all kinds of nonsense within the Dreaming. And it's not so much that the Dreaming can't control it, because usually the Sandman Morpheus is there, and he will just kind of like wave his hand and kind of make everything calm. But of course Dream is not there right now. He's off on travels. Is he going to come back or not? We don't know. So it's up to Merv and all these other kind of subsidiary characters to kind of fill the breach and try and control what's going on. And Bill Evely's artwork here, I hope you can see this, along with Matt Lopez's artwork. It's just fantastic and completely kind of evokes the crazy madness that's going on. And even more so when kind of Merv starts looking for help. Obviously he goes to Lucien first, but Lucien has his own problems as a kind of our chest of darkness is needing to be locked down. As always with these books, there's a lot kind of, not a lot of storylines going on, because they're all being affected by whatever this craziness is, but each character is kind of dealing with their own shit. Again, I like the way that Sam Spirit is dropping bits in from the original series. So we get the mention of the cuckoo, the Midwich cuckoo, that was in earlier volumes of Sandman. That kind of a magpie-ish type character who, no, it wasn't a magpie, was it? Can't remember what it was now. But it's this kind of idea where this parasite kind of lays this kind of thought egg that can cause utter chaos and destroy the Dreaming, and all these evil badness things get thrown away in this chest, and I kind of get the feeling that Lucien is trying to kind of step up to Dream's position and try and keep everything in control. But as we saw in the last issue, and we saw in the one-shot special, something is happening with Lucien himself. He is forgetting things. His own kind of narration is broken. It's kind of degrading. It's decaying. What is going on? And you don't really find out in this issue. Despite all the kind of little clues that they throw in, not even so much as what the whole kind of thing that is happening here. What is this evil that everyone keeps warning those around them about? But it's kind of tying into all the other books as well. We see a little kind of one-page shot of the House of Whispers, which, yes, I will talk about soon. I haven't forgotten about it. We've had issue 1 come out. It will come to you eventually. The whole kind of Dora, what is she, who is she? It's kind of like Abel and Cain almost give away the secret of who Dora is and what her kind of origin is, and I can't remember, I think it's Abel who almost tells us before Cain kicks him down like a big hole, but we see the fact that I think he says Dora is and it's a H, that he starts the word off before he's kicked down, and I hope it's not, but you know, I kind of immediately went to half breed, so it's kind of like she's half dream, half human, perhaps a connection between a member of the Dreaming and someone of the human Earth, which we have seen before with Dream and I can't remember her name now. No, it's gone. But you know, we have had instances where a Dream has had obviously intimate relations with a human, which is why we have our new Dream. And then we end up, all the way through it, we've seen Merv speaking to someone. Yes, it looks like they're speaking directly to us, but he is speaking to someone directly, which we don't see until the last page, and it looks like this is going to be more trouble than it's worth. Merv is just trying to do what's best for the Dreaming, but perhaps he's not taken the best path, as out of our box of evil, I guess you'd call it, the black chest, full of the nightmares, it's this character, Judge Gallows, and he's there to come to judge, I guess, everyone within the Dreaming, and I've got a feeling that's gonna make things a lot worse than it already is. But what a ride! Love this series. Spurrier and Evely can do this forever and ever, and I will pick up every issue. It's a fantastic story. Please go support this new Vertigo book. Make sure it continues for much longer. That's it for this week. Thank you all for watching. Please let me know down in the comments section below what you've been reading, what you thought of the books if you were reading them that I picked up this week. Give this video a big thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe, hit the notification bell, say hi, and I'll comment back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, and look out for some more comic books, all new, all different, on Wednesday. Thank you. Bye bye.